All right, well, welcome back. It is Friday, September 11th here at UC Davis, and I am remembering back 19 years ago to September 11th, and I remember very specific, clear details about that day from 19 years ago. And I think I will remember very clear details and memories from this September 11th as well. So yesterday we had a very big day, in a good way. And Ethan's nurse was doing great. She was just checking things off the list, and she makes like this to-do list, and she was getting things done. So when I got here, Ethan was getting his brain drain. Sorry, he's got some balloons here. Let's move those, making noise. Getting his brain drain out. So that's just like a bedside procedure, but I was over here in the corner trying not to pay attention because I was getting a little warm and squeamish thinking about what they were actually doing. But the brain drain is out, so that is good. And then Nurse Melissa got his A-line out, so that's good. And then she took out his catheter, so that was good. So suddenly, we have a lot less stuff attached to him, and the less stuff that's attached to him, the more stuff that he can do. Let's see, she had speech therapy come, and they did like their initial evaluation with swallowing and foods and things like that. So he is on he's on thick liquids. So, like just regular water was a little hard to swallow, but like thicker juice, you just put like this thickener in it. So kind of like consistency of like my plum jelly that didn't set up. That's basically his, what he's eaten. So the more that he can take in orally, the more calories that he can take in through his mouth, the sooner we can get the feeding tube out. So convincing him to eat something or drink something besides apple juice is kind of the goal, because he needs lots of calories and he's interested in ice chips and apple juice. So we're making progress though. And it feels really good to help him do something. For about 2.5 weeks, we're just kind of in here, and I was afraid to touch him or break him. And so now that I can do something productive with him, it feels good to be actually helpful in here. Let's see, after speech around noon, physical therapy came and kind of did their first, actual thing with him. They've come by, but it was more just like a talking and hello. Whereas this time, they got Ethan sitting up in bed, had his feet on the side, and he was sitting up, and he was pretty, floppy. And I think that's to be expected because he's still on some meds, and also just sitting up for the first time in 2.5, almost 3 weeks. It's got to be a pretty crazy, sensation. So he did pretty well with that, so they decided they wanted to get him in the cardiac chair, which means he needed like a helmet. So his brain flap is pretty much this whole section. It's a pretty big section of his skull that is needing to be protected. So they had people from upstairs come down, and they measured him and fitted him for a special helmet to protect him while he is moving around. So they got the helmet on, and then they were able to get him into the cardiac chair, which is kind of just like a gurney that sits up more, and the legs flop down, so that way you're kind of in a semi-vertical seated position. Got him situated in that chair, and then they took him on a stroll around, the 10th floor, and so that was pretty neat, because all the nurses and everybody that were here were like, "Ethan, you look so great," and "Oh, Ethan, yay, and you look so good." And Ethan had his eyes closed for most of the time, and he'd open his eyes and get a smile every now and then. And we took him to the big picture window that looks out, and he wasn't too impressed. It was kind of a lot of him having his eyes closed and us saying, "Ethan, open your eyes, here's the elevators," and "Ethan, open your eyes, here's Nurse Ashley," and "Ethan, open your eyes." And we were much more enthused about it than he appeared, but I think he did enjoy it, and just the concept of being outside of his hospital room is a big deal. So we got him back to the room, back into his bed here in the room, and all of that took about 4.5 hours, from about noon to 4:30 from when physical therapy came and had him sit up in his bed to going around the floor to back into his bed. So if that gives you some sort of context to how long everything takes, just not because they're not doing a good job, but just it just takes time to do everything. The littlest thing is a lot of work. So after that, he took a nap and then fed him dinner, and then I came home. He kind of had a rough, or not home, but to the place where we're staying, some friends here. He had kind of a rough night, a little bit of anxiety and just, you know, needing a lot of attention. And so I think tonight they're going to try giving him some melatonin to help calm him, and so that way he can get some good sleep during the night, and then that way during the day he's more awake and in a better state to do speech therapy and physical therapy and just, you know, not be so anxious and things like that just from exhaustion. So overall, yesterday was a really great, busy day in a good way. So it was really neat to see him, you know, out of bed, and there was a time when I thought maybe he would never get out of the bed. So good to see him out of bed, good to see stuff coming off of him. You can kind of see those Christmas trees in the back. So those are 2 of his poles that he no longer needs. So now he is down to just 1 pole with a lot less pumps than he used to have. So we're getting closer to being cleared from ICU. I think we're probably another 36 hours of slowly weaning off the sodium drip. I think that's the main thing that's keeping him in ICU at this point, is the sodium IV. So they're gonna wean him off every 6 hours, drop that down, and so I think that's on a 3-day trajectory. So, you know, it could, if things go well, you know, we could be going down to a different floor here in the next 4 days maybe. We'll see how things progress. The sooner he's off those IVs and things, the sooner he can really ramp up his physical therapy, which is what he's gonna really need an intensive on. He's doing, you know, waving with his right hand, thumbs up with his right hand. He'll move his left leg up and down in bed, you know, he'll bring his knee up and things like that. But there's really nothing else coming from his left side. So his arm, you know, it's pretty much locked, and he has his hands like this on his left side, and it used to kind of bend more, and now it's just kind of pretty rigidly straight. And then same with his leg, it's pretty much rigidly straight. When physical therapy picks up his left leg, you know, he'll push against it, but he's not moving it or anything. So I think that will come with physical therapy, which would be a really good thing for him. So he's taking a little morphine nap right now to make sure he's all rested up for when physical therapy comes, so he'll be agreeable to do what they tell him to do. So that's where we are, and kind of enjoying the nice clean air of the hospital. So we're thinking of all of our friends that are affected by the fire, and that's rotten. So we are thinking of you and thinking about you during your recovery and everybody that's affected. And we're here just doing our thing, our new normal thing, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.